I've been using the Whoop 4.0 now for just over 6 months, so it's time for my updated review. This little device has exceeded my expectations in 3 areas. The first is helping me create a really good sleep routine, which is the foundation or building blocks for the rest of our day, isn't it? The next is managing my exercise levels, or strain as we call it. And the third is helping me to manage my recovery as well. So in this updated review, I'm going to take you through my day wearing a Whoop, and then you can decide if you think it's good for you as well. Let's get cracking. So let's start in bed. Andrew Huberman says, wake up, go outside, look at the sun, wait a couple of hours for your morning coffee. And I say good for him. My wake up routine is wake up, pint of water, I have a coffee machine by my bed, and then I check in with my health coach to get the data on how well I've slept and to tell me how I'm going to progress with my day. Your Whoop would have analysed your sleep and given you a performance score. So on this day, I got a 91% performance score, which is pretty good. And if I look at the breakdown, I can see that I was awake for half an hour during the night. A lot of light sleep, more than I would have liked, less deep sleep than I would have liked, and just about enough REM. And based on those sleep metrics, in addition to my level of effort the day before, I can see that my overall recovery is 67%, which is in the green, but I do like it to be a bit better than that. And if I look at my health metrics, I can see that they're all in range. So my respiratory rate throughout the night, 17.6. Blood oxygen levels are good. My resting heart rate, a little bit higher than I'd like, but still in the green. My HRV and my temperature as well, all looking good. My HRV really interests me because it's generally on the lower side. And if you don't know what your HRV is, it stands for heart rate variability. And if you think of there being 2 systems in your body, your rest and digest system and your fight and flight system, or your para and sympathetic nervous systems, and they're both looking to influence your heart rate. So if your heart beats 60 times in a minute, it won't be 1 second between each beat. They're both trying to influence your heart rate, and the variability between beats gives you your get up and go score. So the higher your HRV, the higher your get up and go score is. And if I look back over the last 6 months, you can see that in October and November, it had quite a dip. And we had a family emergency during this time, short-lived, thankfully, and everything's good now. But it's amazing how much a lack of sleep and stress can impact your get up and go, basically. You can see in November, there was a pretty significant drop for that month as to where my normal baseline is. Now, because my recovery is good, my Whoop, if you look at the bottom of the picture here, is giving me a recommendation of a strain or effort score of the day between 10 and 14. 21 is the highest. I mean, I've been flat out all day. Heavy workouts, as well as being really active as well, outside of the workouts. And I've hit a strain of like 19 out of 21. I don't know how you can hit 21. But my goal for today is between 10 and 14, based on my recovery, as I've mentioned, and also my health metrics. Now, I had a delivery this day, so I had to wait in all day, and I was less active than normal, but I did manage a 10-minute yoga session. That's about all I can bear of yoga. A 30-minute weight session and a 20-minute row afterwards. And all of that, along with just moving around all day anyway, gave me a strain score of 13.2 overall for that day, which is right in that zone of between 10 and 14, where the Whoop was suggesting I should be. And then towards the end of the day, maybe 7, 8 o'clock, my Whoop knows what time I like to get up. I like to get up at 6 o'clock every morning, part of my good sleep routine, and I like to have a coffee in bed, as you know. So it suggested that with the effort that I've had during that day to get enough sleep to perform tomorrow, then I need to be in bed by 10 p.m. Which doesn't sound that late, does it? However, and I've confessed this before, I mean, the older I get, the earlier I go to bed. By about 9, sometimes at 9 o'clock, I'm saying to my wife, should we have a slow walk up? Because I just really value my sleep rather than watching like just stuff on the TV, really. As you can probably tell, I'm very impressed with this little device. And if you're thinking about getting a Whoop, I'll put a link in the description. That will get you a free Whoop and also a 3 months membership with Whoop. They have a 30 days return period as well, so they've got a really good return period. In my experience, the customer service is very good as well. And if you do keep the Whoop beyond that, you're tied in for a year. So my suggestion would be go for a year's membership, because that's cheaper than going month by month. And if you don't like it within that 30 days, they'll just refund it all anyway. The software with Whoop is always updating, and they have a feature now where you can plan your week ahead. So you might be looking for a week of strain, a week of prioritizing your sleep. You might be on holiday, you might want to meditate, maintain, and the Whoop will create your weekly profile to meet those needs. One of the new features they've got is it will analyze your recovery. You can see here that an early workout was really good for my recovery. However, I was slightly stressed on this particular day, which impacted my recovery, as well as going a little bit beyond my strain target as well. Another thing which has a big impact on the data you get from Whoop is alcohol. So previously, up until a couple of years ago, I was quite a big drinker, so a couple of large glasses of wine a night, and I stopped drinking. Recently, I've had a couple of drinks occasionally, so I would describe myself as virtually teetotal. I might have 1 or 2 drinks a month, if that. But even on a small amount of alcohol, it has a major impact on your recovery. Also, things like eating late. So if you have your dinner really late and then go to bed, and it just makes sense really, your body should be resting that time, when in fact it's digesting the food that you should have eaten several hours before, so your body can recover properly. Your Whoop will tell you, and it will give you that feedback the next day. In conclusion, it's very easy to live with. You don't even have to take your Whoop off to charge it. You get a battery that comes with your Whoop, and then when it's ready for charge, you just slot it on, and the color indicates how charged your Whoop is. The next thing I find really helpful is it's quite a gentle coach. You can get a lot of the data that Whoop gives you from something like an Apple Watch. I wear an Apple Watch. However, it's just data, and you have to go and look for the data, and then you have to decide what you're going to do with the data. Whereas Whoop will take the data a bit more than the Apple Watch does, and it will push that data to you, as well as giving you some information as what you could be doing with that information to improve your health and fitness over time. One thing I have noticed is that Whoop rewards me more for cardiovascular activities than it does for things like weight training, which I do appreciate as I'm getting older, because cardio isn't my most favorite thing, but well, a good cardiovascular system is kind of the basis of everything else, isn't it? As I mentioned, I'll put a link in the description which will get you a free Whoop and a 3 months membership. And if you're looking for a really detailed review of this Whoop, then watch this video here. Until next time, see you soon.